Good evening, everybody. My name is Roddy Bogus. I am the Moore R&O project manager for this project. You've probably already been around the room a lot today, and you've seen the various stations, not to mention the big stage where you learned a lot about our project today. My job today is to tell you what it's going to be like while we're building this. It's going to be a great project when we're done, but what does it look like? So you've seen the imagery and you heard from Gensler earlier today, and this is the final project of what the Moore R&O Concourses will look like, and it's a fantastic product. But how do we get between where we are today and where we're going to be? Well, one of the first things we're going to do is build this airport on top of itself, and that's very similar to a conversation of how do you replace an engine while you're flying the plane. One of the first things you'll see right out of the box is when you're coming to fly at the Reno-Tahoe International Airport is some of the gates will be shut down almost immediately. So if you're accustomed to going to Concourse B and gates B1 through B9, maybe Southwest Airlines, one of the first things you're going to find out is we've moved these aircraft to a different place at the airport to make room for the construction of the new concourses to be. One of the things you as a passenger have to look forward as you move through here is pay attention to the flight information display boards. They're going to tell you where your flight is, and as we go through construction, you're going to notice that your flights won't always be where you expect them to be. Some of the side effects of what we're doing here is airlines will not always be where they're going to be. Passengers and employees will need to pay more attention to where they are sending their passengers and where their actual gates are, and there will be an opportunity for temporary walkout gates. And that's not something you're used to seeing here at the Reno-Tahoe Airport Authority. Talking about those, these are what these gates may look like. As we go through construction and we still have airlines that need to board passengers, for a time period, we will have temporary walkout gates going from the concourses down to the apron level to put you out on your plane, much like you see on the left picture. When that happens, you'll be boarding as usual from a temporary hold room. There could be multiple flights boarding there at one time or just your flight. So that will be a big change we'll see as we go through this. One of the things that we'll do is make sure, A, we have enough staff there to help you. 2, we're going to need you to pay attention to the announcements and also pay attention to where your gate is. Our job is to make sure when you board a flight thinking you're going to Burbank, you don't accidentally wind up on a flight to Boise. One of the technology aspects that we're blessed to have as part of a construction on top of ourselves is common use technology. What do we mean by that? In this case, you'll see 3 pictures here, which all are the same gate but happen at different times of the day. So during construction, each one of our airlines will be able to use any gate at any place in our existing concourses. You'll see here maybe at 1 hour it's Alaska for a flight to Seattle. An hour later it could be an American flight to New York. And then finally a couple hours later it could be a Delta flight to Los Angeles. I cannot tell you enough, it will be super important for you to be looking at where your flight is taking off from, because it may not be, if you're a frequent flyer, from where you always have gone to. So travel tips, as you hear all the time, arrive early. Give yourself time to familiarize yourself to what gate you're going to be going to. 2, follow the signs, listen to the announcements. And yes, we know airports are full of signs and they're full of announcements, but you'll need to pay attention to these announcements, these signs, every step of the way. And I guess 3 is thanks for bearing with us as we turn this airport into more R&O for the people in this valley. So we've taken a look at what's going around today. In fact, this isn't new to you. There's a call to action. We'd love to hear from you about what you think from what you've heard today. You'll see at other booths that there are questions that if you will scan this QR code that we'd ask you to answer. Answers for you as a passenger. If you're an employee, there are some questions for you as well. So take a look at the questions. If you use the QR code, go in there, provide us those answers so that we continue to craft this process to better serve you as the flying public and also you as a fellow employee here at the Reno-Tahoe International Airport. With that, I thank you. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them.